What's going on, everybody? Yeah, that's right. No intro song again. That's how we do it sometimes. Another episode of Cheap Seats Box Show. Answer here, my boy JP. JP, what's up, man?
Blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. First things first, follow us on Twitter at Cheap Seats Box, iTunes, rate, review. You'll be next unofficial sponsor. Follow the show on YouTube and email us cheapseatsbox@gmail.com. Any questions, comments, anything like that. JP, this last weekend, Everest landed. Lara finally got beat. That's what everybody was waiting for. Jarrett Hurd gets the split decision. What'd you think, man?
Did he get beat? Yeah, he got beat.
Yeah, he got beat.
I mean, some people it's closer than the knockdown made it a deciding thing. So Swift pulled it out in the end with that. Kind of that Angulo thing we were talking about. Who was that other judge?
Yeah, that one, I don't know the name.
Yeah. I mean, Lara started out good, and then it just started getting the pressure put in, and then, getting popped. It is what it is. It wasn't a landslide. It was a good fight. Very competitive, But that knockdown basically clinched the fight. So that's what it is. So he pulled it out, man.
Yeah. Well, every now and then I get it exactly right. I got it exactly right. I said that Lara beat him early. Hurd would come on. I said a couple knockdowns, and then he'd get a split decision. Well, it was one knockdown, got the split decision. It was close enough, goddammit. But you know what? Right away, you knew Lara was in trouble. I mean, he was standing in the pocket the whole time, which is so anti-Lara that you're like, maybe the legs aren't all there. He did try to get on his bicycle, but that was once he started feeling the pressure. I thought he lost the fight. I didn't score it, but it felt like a 7-5 fight for Hurd, and then the knockdown is 3-point fight. Even 6-6, he still gets the win because of the knockdown. Either way, Hurd got a deserved victory. No matter what that one judge had, Lara went in 10 rounds, something like that. And it was some crazy, insane shit like that. Adelaide Bird approved card, of course. Here's the thing. Here's my takeaways. Hurd is a fun fighter, flawed defensively. Yes, even offensively. I mean, he's a little wide sometimes. He gets hit really flush a lot. And so, as much as I guess you'd have to say he is the man right now, he beat the longest reigning champion. He has 2 belts. So at this point, he's the man. But honestly, he goes in there against a guy like Jermell Charlo.
He getting fucked up.
Maybe.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Maybe. Because the rumors are out now that Jermell Charlo got knocked out in sparring by Errol Spence.
No. They actually talked about that because they were together.
Yeah.
When people come to the gym and bring their camera phones and take pictures, they can make the picture say whatever they want. It's kind of like with McGregor and Paulie. Yeah. If you put out in it, you see, that's not the whole story. People do just lay on the canvas after a long day's work. So that's some bullshit. But it makes it look good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, that's cool. But I'm just saying, even still though, I just don't see him beating a guy like Jermell. No, it picked up. All right, cool. It got picked up. Thank God. Yeah, but I just don't see him against beating a guy like Jermell like that. He just gets hit too flush. And truth be told, the fact that Lara could stand in the pocket with him and take a lot of his shots early on, it tells you that his power isn't that big. It's an accumulation. It's a pressure thing that builds on you. And if somebody's smart enough and defensively sound enough to move around a little bit and avoid some of that, he's going to have more left in the tank later on. And Jermell's a guy who can go 12 rounds. At this point, he can be, if he wants to be, he can be a young Lara, because we've seen that before he started sitting down on his punches more. I mean, there was a point where we were like, hey man, you can see the Lara influence when they were all training here in Houston. So I just see Jermell can do a lot of different game plans against Hurd, and if he can implement a few different game plans, it's going to keep Hurd off balance. And I think I would favor Jermell heavy in that fight. But all credit due to Jarrett Hurd, because he did what most couldn't do, I thought, convincingly beat Erislandy Lara, no matter what he says or that one judge. He convincingly beat him.
You gotta give Odell Hurd his credit. You do. He deserves it. He earned it. He's unorthodox, yes. He's fun, yes. I think a great style, young, horrible style if he gets older.
Yeah.
But facing Charlo, if that's the next move, if Lara can stand in the pocket, Charlo can stand in the pocket and damage the body. That recipe could be a recipe for disaster. But if Hurd can make it a fight, I can level the playing field. Not necessarily, because them Charlo brothers rather fight. You could tell they would rather fight. They're just boxers who would rather fight. But I think it's a great prelude. And it's funny because somebody's name got beat out the mix already who was on the card. You know, so wow, it's on now.
There's one thing, people were talking about the size disparity, which there was. Then there's no way around it. There was. And look, it's not saying that like anybody cheated or Hurd followed the IBF weigh-in and the 10-pound day after weigh-in, which means he still had another 10, 12 hours to put on a little more weight. He obviously put on more weight. He's probably pushing 170 by the time that fight came around. And I know that they said Lara weighed like 163 on the day after. Yeah, he probably had all his clothes on and a pocket full of rocks. Because, like I've said before, I ran into Erislandy Lara before, not in a training camp, and the dude is small. He is a small guy. We were eye to eye. I'm under 5'8". Obviously, I outweighed him by quite a bit. All muscle, just like Andre Ward, all muscle. But he's not a big dude, man. He's a small guy. And that was him. Like I said, that was him not in training camp. Of course, he's a Cuban. They're always in the gym. But the fact is, he's a small guy, and you can see Hurd is a huge guy at 154. And the only thing about people bringing that up, I think some of it gets lost, is it wasn't that he was cheating or like he had an unfair advantage. What it was if the size disparity isn't that much with a guy with that skill set of a Lara, what happens? And I think that's where the Jermell Charlo comes in, because he also is a pretty big guy at 154. Not as big as his brother. His brother seems to be a little bit thicker than he is, but he's a big guy at 154 as well. So the size disparity will not be what it was against a guy like Lara, and I think that's what people were talking about. And those who thought it was like some kind of cheating or some kind of, like, Lara, he's held in that 154 belt. He knows what he's getting into. He's been in there with big guys before. Hurd just happened to be the biggest. He's Errol Spence of that weight division, where Errol Spence is so much bigger than everybody else at welter. That's going to be Hurd's advantage. When he goes up to 160, those advantages go away. So I don't know how good he's going to be moving up, but I know while he's at 154, there's a lot of fun fights to be made, and his style leans itself to have good, fun fights.
It's going to be great. Because, like, I can't take the size advantage thing away. Like, just because it's Lara. Lara been there for years.
Yeah.
Lara fought Paul Williams. That's a huge guy for the weight class that he was in. You got, Lara, he's been sparring with the Charlos. They're considered big for their size. So the thing about it is Lara's got the skills. He's always had the skills. He's fought pretty much everybody, may have been slightly bigger than him.
Yeah.
So,
and he just got beat by a younger, stronger guy. That was it. That's all it was. I mean, 4 years ago, I think this fight's different.
Right.
I mean, could he still catch him? Of course he could. Angulo caught him, and Angulo's slow as shit. So yeah, it's possible. But I think that the outcome, I thought, was pretty. It was written out there for you right away when you're like, oh, he's not moving around. You know what was going to happen. And that's kind of what happened. Hey, on the undercard, which one we going to... Hey, check your horns, people. Check your horns. We're doing a show. Why am I blanking on the undercard? Not the J-Rock fight.
Truex?
Oh, yeah. Caleb Truex, James DeGale. James DeGale gets his title back just like you predicted. We both were 2-1 this last week. not as clear of a victory. I thought it was pretty fucking close. Even the punch stats to tell you, Truax, I think, got just edged him on the output and the landing. It was really close fight, man, back and forth. Like there wasn't a lot of landed punches. No matter, it was. I think it was like 90 something for DeGale, and it was like barely 100 for Truax. Not much to take from it. DeGale is still who I think he is. He's the underachiever, of course. I guess kudos to him. They had mutual respect. You saw the picture of them in the ambulance together. I guess a third fight, because everybody else at 168 who's at that level, I think they take DeGale, man. I think Truax is the guy to go. He probably could fill up, for the most part, mostly an arena. Going back home for the third fight. I don't know what you think, man.
Congratulations. I think it's either rubber match material or let it go, because at this point it seems like they got too much respect for each other. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's either they're really just even as fighters and they just can't get a beat on each other, or they just got too much respect for each other and don't really want to try to get the other person out. So, I mean, the rubber matches seems to be necessary, but I'm not sure if the fans want to see that.
That's what I'm saying. That has to go back to the UK. It has to. It's the only way you're going to sell that fight.
Yeah,
because it's dizzying. I mean, shit, there was nobody there this weekend, so nobody's going to be there for that fight on the third go around. And at least if they go back to the UK, he could headline, where they could not headline here.
Right. Because it wasn't. You don't think fireworks when you think those two. You just think this is going to be a good fight with good fighters. But it's an underachieving fight that has a lot of good history to it. So that's what it is.
And I think the way that this should have went, Truex should have got him a little home fight for this one. Is it from Minnesota, right? I think. I mean, how many fights do you get in that area? And to have a champion, and he's been doing a lot of work with the kids in school and stuff like that. It's like it reminds me to a lesser extent of Regis Prograis, right? Like, he's probably going to go to Fresno to fight Jose Ramirez. But if I was him, I would love to have. Well, hey, if he wins it, then he can have whatever he wants. But what I'm saying is, in the interim, to have a fight in New Orleans, to go back home and to get some love, because New Orleans doesn't host a lot of fights, especially at that level. And he's been doing so much work in the schools, because all you see is all the pictures of him at the school. He's got, you know what I mean? Like, you want to. That's how you open up new markets, and I think that's where a lot of these promoters are dropping the ball on opening new markets.
Great idea, but not a good idea. I love Nola, but there's two problems: fighters' appetite for drinking and eating. You gonna fuck up in New Orleans. Like, it'll be great for Prograis. Oh, come on, we gonna fight New Orleans. I'm gonna drop you off some gumbos, some jambalaya, we get some po' boys. You want some daiquiris? Cool. Yeah, come tomorrow. Your ass ain't making shit.
Well, make no mistake, Prograis is gonna stay here in Houston to train before he goes there. He knows better. And if you can train here in Houston, where we have more restaurants than anybody in the fucking world, then you'll be okay.
Yeah. And whoever's going to New Orleans, he knows. Take him to the casino. Take them to Bourbon Street. Let them have all the fun they want. What is that? How they tell the guys who are in the Super Bowl, don't go out and party before the game. I don't think the fight. Where was the fight? Which one of the fights with Sugar Ray and Duran was in New Orleans?
Oh, I think it was the first one, right? Was it the first one?
It was one of them. I will put my money. Whoever lost that fight indulged in New Orleans too much.
I can't remember offhand. Well, Duran did have the shits in the second fight.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember which one it was, but I'm guaranteeing something had to do with it. Because Sugar Ray liked to party, Duran liked to eat. It is what it is.
And in the undercard, Julian J. Rock Williams gets a majority decision?
Yeah.
Gallimore. Look. it was a good win by J-Rock, but it wasn't impressive. And I'm telling you, just like Abner Mares, he looks like a guy who there's still things there. He still, at his best, can be very competitive with the top guys at 154. Just like Abner could do it at 126. With the top, he could hang with them, but he's not going to beat him. He's still a guy fighting for his confidence, like we were talking about. And it looks just like that. He doesn't seem to be as confident, as bold as he was before the knockout. He can say he's ready for Hurd or whatever. He's not ready for that kind of pressure. I think he crumbles under that kind of pressure this time around. I think he needs a couple more fights with the guys in between a Hurd and a Gallimore, and he needs to find that right opponent. Hell, there's Landy Lara is there. There's no reason not to. I'm just saying, like, because he's not going to hurt you, but I'm just saying he needs some. But a win like that would build confidence. He needs it. It's like the Cuellar fight built the confidence back for Mares, even though he's going to get his ass whipped by Santa Cruz in this next fight. But he needs something like that to reestablish his confidence. I see a guy who's not nearly as confident as he was before. The J-Rock before Charlo and the J-Rock after Charlo, to me, are two different guys.
Yeah, I mean, for one, he needed to impress to be mentioned in the fight with Swift. That lets you know after that fight was over, they was already Hurd and Charlo, because it just wasn't that impressive as far as like, oh yeah, he's back. The other thing, just like you was talking about with Mares, same thing with Nonito for a while. It's you can see the fearlessness is gone.
Yeah,
it's like it's borderline apprehension and fearlessness, and it's like you can't turn it on in the right time, and you can't turn it off at the right time. You don't know. It's like they're in no man's land. And it's weird because me as a person, I would say, you know what? Just go for it. If you get your ass, just go for the top of your ass. Make it a training camp where, look, it's do or die. Either you're gonna show up or you're gonna be done. So if you win, now your confidence is back. But at the same time, if you take one of those guys like Lara and he mix your ass up for 12 rounds, you might not ever in your life recover. Because then it's like, am I just a journeyman? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what that's what it looks like, you know. And and for some people who may not understand what we're talking about, when you see people who if they play baseball, you could tell if a pitcher owns a hitter or a hitter owns a pitcher. You could just tell by the way they just switch up the minute they see him. You know, same thing if you get somebody watching basketball. If somebody dunks on you so bad, then he's never been the same. Same thing in football. You know, somebody got hit so hard that now they're not running the way they used to. It's the same exact thing when you're watching it. So he just looks like he's right there and he can't get himself out.
And when you're talking about going for it, I think that's what Mares did, was the first fight against Santa Cruz. That's how he got a lot of his confidence back in the Cuellar fight, was the one that reestablished his confidence. Was after the Johnny Gonzalez knockout, he was a man searching for confidence. And he said, fuck it, I'm going for it. And he went for it in the first few rounds. I thought the first 3 or 4 rounds was great. It slowed down after that, but I thought those first 3-4 rounds was amazing action between him and Santa Cruz, and I think he just went for it and said fuck it, and he didn't get knocked out. I thought it built his confidence. Yeah, he got the loss, but he took the punches. Good thing for him, Leo's not a big one-punch puncher, so that helped. And that's why he needs, like, J-Rock needs to get in a firefight with somebody who's going to go in like balls out but doesn't have the one-punch power. He's got to do something to reestablish his confidence all the way. He seems to be a guy in there now thinking more than reacting. And before, he was just a guy who just reacted, just went and did his thing. And he seems to be a little bit more methodical. It's not a huge thing, but it's just enough to take that edge off of him to where he's not one of the top contenders anymore. He's a guy in the top 10, in the lower top 10, who's just there. You know what I mean? And to me, that's what it seems like. There ain't shit left, man. There's not this weekend. There's nothing. I didn't even look at the schedule. I know there's no big fight, right? Am I missing something?
I stopped looking. I was looking at more at the news part.
Yeah, well, let's get into some of that. We didn't talk about it. And if you're looking for boxer versus MMA guy in a UFC talk, I'm going to give you as much talk about that as I did about the boxing match. You're not going to hear anything about that. It officially got signed, right? Manny Pacquiao, Lucas Matthysse. Now, did you hear me talk about Manny Pacquiao versus Mike Alvarado? Nope, because it was bullshit. Now, this fight we will talk about because they are perfectly aligned in their careers. They are both falling off. Manny more so, maybe. I don't know. More, maybe. See, that's the thing. Is like, is he? Yeah, he has. His confidence has never been the same. He has never went balls out since he got knocked out.
Right.
But he's so good that he can still beat most of the top 10 guys. That's where he dominated Bradley and Vargas and guys like that. And even Joe Horn. Or
right.
was it? Hold on. What is it? I just said Joe Horn. Sorry. Jeff Horn. See, I did it doing a cell phone celebration in the corner. But this is a great fight, man. For a pay-per-view fight, because you're probably going to pay for it. I like this fight, man. You know, Matthysse, even though he's lost it, he still poses a threat because of his punch. And Manny's chin, well, we know he can be had. The way that these two guys fight, I don't think it can be anything but a really fun fight.
This is going to be a career changer for either fighter. Because after Postal, it was like people walked away from Matthysse. That's what happened. Manny's in a space where he's just so good that he's revered, win or loss, because he's really so much better than everybody. But at the same time, in boxing terms, he old as hell. Mm-hmm. So it's like people want to see him out of there, but because he really has his only true competition would probably be Terrence Crawford. Probably that would have been his only true competition. And it's like, it's unfair to ask that of him now, in a sense, because he's not active, and he'd probably get his ass whooped, and people don't want to see that, you know. But this Matthysse fight, Matthysse could literally knock Manny out and get his confidence back that he lost from years ago. And he can literally get his ass drove. And people will go, Manny, we told you Manny's the greatest thing since sliced bread with peanut butter and jelly. Cut the corners off. You know, so I think it's a great fight on paper. You know, and I expect pretty much no defense. Action, no defense. But that's the thing. Manny doesn't punch as much as he used to, but Manny's so inactive that I don't know what... Nobody knows what Manny has left because Manny is just so inactive.
The biggest question is, which organization throws some bullshit belt on this fight? WBC, WBA. It won't be the IBF. They never throw no bullshit. Well, sometimes they do, but it's rare. WBO.
No, WBC is really the king of bullshit belts.
The WBA's got 3 of them in every weight.
No. But the WBC will make... Remember, they made up the belt for Hopkins. They made up the Cinco de Mayo belt. You know what I'm saying? They made up the $1 billion belt. Like, they fucking make belts. Like, you know... The Ted DiBiase special, yes. You know, like if you don't have one, we're gonna hook you up with one. You know, the WBA, they just have 1 million belts. We have the 144-pound super. Ain't no fucking one for. Look, shut up. We got these.
You know, we should have checked to see which belts are out there at welterweight for WBA. Because if they don't have the interim or the regular,
that's going to be on the line.
You think WBO will come out because they've had such a long history with Manny that they'll make the WBO regular?
Yeah, they could do that.
I love the fight, man. Especially at this stage in his career, you can't ask for much more of a risk to take at this stage where they really are just cashing checks, and it's going to be in Malaysia. That's odd. Don't take the airplanes there. Aren't they still looking for that one?
Well, no, they found it, I think.
No, I don't think they did. I don't know.
I forgot.
Somebody turn on CNN. They're probably still talking about it.
At least one thing is certain. Matisse knows signing up for this fight, I got to knock him out to win. And I think it's great that Manny decided to have a fight in somewhere. You know, the fight in Macau was cool. Now this fight in Malaysia is cool. Bring it back home to your hometown and then get out of there. You know what I'm saying? If he wins this fight, if you have a last fight, fight in the Philippines. You know, you've pretty much made everybody else money all around the world. Make your hometown money. You know, that's just my opinion.
And no Freddie Roach.
No Freddie Roach.
No Freddie Roach.
This might be a Ann Wolf event, dog. You know how this shit go.
Is Manny gonna come with a gut? He gonna barely make 147.
This is gonna, this is bad.
And let's see, a couple things, man. Wilder Joshua talk has been heating up. I want to be honest, man. And everybody knows that I've been predicting Joshua to beat Wilder, even though I think it's a 50-50 fight. I've been on the Joshua bandwagon for a while. But the one thing we will do here is stay consistent. Joshua is starting to sound like fucking Floyd Mayweather in the middle of those negotiations with Manny. Like, you really don't want this fight. Start talking flat fees and all this other bullshit. To pay me this. Like, and it wasn't fair then. It ain't fair now. No flat fees percentage-wise. Like, I get it. It's not a 50-50 fight. It may not even be 60-40 as far as paydays go. But it's at least 65-35.
No, I would say it's 60-40 at the least. 55-45.
I don't think it's 55-45.
No,
only because one guy's got 3 belts, one guy's got 1. And one sells 80,000, the other one sells 12,000. I mean...
Yeah, but the way they just did it. Because they had... Parker, they gave him like 33%.
Yeah.
Wilder's better than Parker.
That's
as
true.
far as that's concerned. So if you're gonna give him 33, you should at least give Wilder 40-45.
I give you 34.
You know, 34 and a half. But that's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, I don't really, like I said before, I think Wilder wins because there's no defense in the heavyweight division. There's none. And the Parker fight. It was like a easy money in a sense, you know. So I don't think he wants to fight, truth be told, because I believe Wilder will knock him out convincingly, early, and that throws a monkey wrench in the whole UK heavyweight division. If he does that, if he goes to the UK, beats Joshua in the UK, and goes back home with every belt, I don't think they want that problem. I think what they're trying to do is, I'm going to lowball you to the point that you say you're not going to take the fight, and then what we're going to do is we can cash out with another fighter. Mm-hmm. Now, if I was Wilder, I'd say, you know what? You offer me 12, 20 million. It's still technically my biggest payday. I'm going to knock your ass out and we'll do a rematch, and I'm going to be the A-side on your own turf again. How about that?
That's what I'm saying. That's why and all the people who said Manny should have taken that flat fee of 40 because it's going to be as high as payday, they need to be saying Wilder needs to do the same thing. But I'm not, goddammit.
I get it.
I'm not, because he deserves more than that, because that fight's going to generate more than the 12 million or whatever the flat fee was. Because they're already talking about like that they're going to double the price, the pay-per-views, because you know the pay-per-view prices in the UK is not high. Right. It's like what, $20 bucks, and they're going to get to 40, right? 40 quid, like they like to say. So you figure, and they'll sell that. They're going to sell over 1 million pay-per-views over there,
and they're going to sell out the arena.
So there will be $50-60 million at least in the, to divvy up, along with whatever pay-per-view money comes over here. Even over here, if they do it during the day and it sells 300,000-400,000 at $70, I'm not doing the math on that right now, but all right, 21 million. But still, 21 21, 28 million more. So not, like I said, there's probably close to $75 million once you get the live gate and everything in there. So yes.
No, they said it was a guaranteed 100.
Yeah, well, they can guarantee all they want.
I know, but
hey, trust me. Remember, they guaranteed $6 million for the pay-per-view sales of Pacquiao and Mayweather, and ended up being 4.6. You didn't have to brag about 6 when it was 4.6.
Yeah, it's still a great number, right?
I mean, yeah, it's already a great number. There's no reason. $75 million is still a fucking huge number for guys who look. These aren't the heavyweights of the 70s and 80s and 90s. This is a new wave. So $75 million, even that, you get 40% of that. I mean, now you're close to 30. I could do the math, but I don't want to. It's right at 30.
You know what they need to ask? Okay, so yes, Josh was the A side. So what was the take from Klitschko and Joshua? That was a huge fight.
Yeah, I bet you that was close to 50-50.
So what's the big deal? Like, I think you can't say because everybody, the way it looks is that they're scared of Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be honest about you're trying to lowball them because you're scared. So if the fear is there, that means the anticipation is there, and that means people want to pay to see what's going to happen in real time. So it's at least 40% because the threat is very real.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we're talking about somebody who go, it's all right, we're talking about somebody who could literally end it all with one punch, early or late. And to be perfectly honest, Wilder's last win trumps Joshua's last win. So that makes it worse. And I don't think Joshua has as much skill as Ortiz. And I don't think Parker has as much skill as Ortiz. So I think the way Wilder looks at it is, I'm going to kick your ass. I know you're not better than Ortiz. And I knocked him out. I was getting my ass whipped most of the fight, but I knocked him out. So I know I'm going to knock you out. And I think Josh was like, well, I got these punch. You do, bro. You absolutely do.
The thing is, though, with Wilder, the one thing I will say about Wilder is you don't have to have the skill of Ortiz outboxing because Gerald Washington was doing it. I think he's more skilled than Gerald Washington.
Hey.
But, yeah, it does come off as a scare tactic. I go back to the Floyd Manny thing. Flat feed, test. You got knocked out. All right, 55-45. Let's do it now. Percentage-wise, we're good now. You're starting to slow down. You're not throwing as many punches. 55-45. I'm good with splitting it exactly like that.
This is gonna really say something because I really, no matter how you slice it, I think Wilder wins. But one thing I will say, if Wilder takes this fight and he does and he wins, he's going to make heavyweight he's going to put boxing back on the map because he's a heavyweight, not because of his punch, but because of his willingness to go get your ass wherever you at. Because I can guarantee he's a heavyweight that'll say, I got all the belts, I'll fight you on your home turf. How about that? For all the belts. And I'm going to knock you out in front of your mama and your daddy. How about that?
Now you know who comes in the ring right afterwards, right?
Uh-oh.
Tyson Fury comes in the ring right after that. You know that shit.
Hey, and you know what? That's a fight they wouldn't both back down from. And it'll be a lot of trash talking, and they like each other, but they'll be trying to. He'll knock out Tyson too, but it'll be great.
He's got to hit him.
Yeah, he's got to hit him. Exactly.
Because Fury is the only guy unorthodox
enough not to be hit.
You're gonna have to be hit. Yep.
Right, you're right.
Just like he said, Klitschko, you ain't hitting me. Wilder, you ain't hitting me either. All right, we'll cut it off there. It's a little bit shorter, guys. We had to fit it in. It just happened. Ain't nothing really going on this week. And if there is, we can do a 5-minute show or 10-minute show later on. But I don't think I missed anything of note this week. I don't think there's anything this week of note. Like we do, not first things first, last things last. Follow us on Twitter, @GCSBox, iTunes, Apple Podcasts. Rate, review, you'll be the next unofficial sponsor. That's how we do. We dropped a spot, guys. We're 5th. You motherfuckers. All I do is ask for a free podcast every week. We're 284 episodes in. All I ask is for a motherfucking review, and you guys can't give it to me. Good God Almighty. I don't know. I don't even have to call it quits, man. Now, if you guys could, just rate and review. Be next on for sponsor. Helps keep us noticeable, guys. That's what we want when people type boxing in all the podcast formats. Follow or subscribe to the show on YouTube. Just help get that up. Because like I said, once it gets to a certain point, I'm going to start doing different things with that, hopefully. That's my plans. Email us, cheapseatsboxing@gmail.com. Questions, comments, any top 5 lists that we haven't hit? Because we got more coming. We got more downtime coming in the summertime. Especially when I'll be on vacation for like 5 weeks during the summertime. So, so JP's going to need a lot of lists for me, guys. when I can't get them in there. I don't think anything else. JP, is there anything else?
And this is where the fighters fighting the fans commentate.
And we do it just like you for the cheap seats. We ain't buying no tickets, goddamn it, peace. And yeah, no outro music, guys. Sorry. Later, guys.